We've all worked at a job we've hated before, and mainly it was because of the culture. It was because about upper leadership. We could have had a toxic manager, or there could have been many factors which just led to not a great experience. So as you're a leader, because likely if you're watching this, you're a director, VP, or an executive in corporate America, it's your job to create a great culture for your employees. And if you have aspirations to being the COO, CFO, CMO, or CEO one day, you have to know the critical steps of creating just a magnificent culture for your team. A culture that brings out the best in employees. Even when I was serving in the military, and sometimes in not such great working conditions, if you will, one of the things that was great about it is the mission and the culture were so excellent that I remember being out in the field sometimes and it'd be raining and storming and we'd be all wet and our stuff was all wet, and I'd look to my buddy to the right and I'd be like, man, this is not a lot of fun. Now let's go get the job done. And we'd smile, right? Well, why is that? Even when you're working extended hours like they do at Twitter, or you're in the military serving, right? It's that culture. It's that cultural piece which is so important to building these high-performing teams, and most importantly, making success easy for the leader. So in this video, I'm gonna provide you 7 practical tips that we employ here at Executive Career Upgrades and the other companies that we own and operate to make sure employees enjoy working there and they're operating at a high level. And hey, if you don't know me, my name is Tim Madden, the CEO of Executive Career Upgrades. I spent 22 years in the U.S. Army as a field artillery officer. Now here at ECU, we have transformed the lives of thousands of directors, VPs, and executives, helping them get the job, keep the job, and be successful at the job. And if you like content like this, do me a favor, smash that subscribe button below, and let's get started. Building a good culture is super important for too many reasons to name on this one video here. But the biggest reason is you can't bring in great people and you can't retain great people if you keep bad people around. So the number one first tip I got for you, you gotta set high standards. This is what most people don't do. And I'm just so blessed I got to serve in the military for so long, because when I arrive at any single location, new job, etc., the first thing my leader did at the time, he would do we call them counseling statements in the military, but essentially it's, hey, we're setting the standards for you to be successful. So my first question is, do you do that for your employees? Most people have a training program to show people how to do the thing that we need them to do. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about setting standards. I'm talking about, hey, it's a requirement if you work here to wear this, or maybe you can wear the polo. It's a requirement that you show up for the team meetings. It's a requirement that you help your team. It's a requirement for all of these critical areas. Because how can I hold someone accountable for something that I haven't told them? People like accountability. People don't like chaos. Think about times you worked in chaotic companies before. Was it fun? Is it fun having no standard operating procedures? Is it fun not really having a blueprint on how the business should operate? No. Now again, you need to be careful how you bring this up, because it should be a fun environment, okay? It should be, hey Alex, I want you to be successful, so we're gonna talk about all of the ways we can ensure success for you in this position. And if you do that and everyone's on the same page, it will contribute to a good culture. Failure to set standards, failure to adhere to those standards, it's impossible to build a great team. Number 2, winning is the expectation. In the military, I didn't really like to talk about, hey, what's the minimum standard? What's the bare minimum I can do so I can just barely get by? Is that how you reached your level today? Being a director, VP, or an executive? Hey, I'm just gonna do the bare minimum standards. No. So you need to tell your employees what winning looks like. And that's most of the reason why people aren't winning. They're focused on minimum quotas, minimum targets, minimum lead generations, minimum activity. Can we talk about maximum activity? Can we talk about inspirational, how to get excited? Hey, if you want to know how to get promoted quickly, this is what we determine are exceptional traits. But most of the time, people don't take the time to benchmark. On performance reviews, it's normally 1 through 5, hey, you didn't do a good job or you did. They don't take the time to say, hey, this is not meeting the standard, this is meeting the bare minimum standard, this is excelling at the standard, and this is crushing it. And just so you know, we're only gonna spend time talking about crushing the expectation so that you can be super successful here. Sound good? But most people don't talk like that. Number 3, you have to train every single day if you want to have a great culture and you want to have great employees. Think about it. These employees are going to be with you, 1 year to 5 years, right? And if you don't train them, they're never going to get better. Most people don't train outside of work. So how could you possibly get better? I know this is what most people do. They just hope and pray that things are just going to magically get better, fix themselves, processes are going to come in. Look, that's not even a real reality. So you have to train your team. One of my functions here is working daily with the sales team. And every single day for training for them, we do role plays, right? Because we have a saying here, we don't practice on our clients. You may want to implement that into your business, right? Do you practice on your clients? Does your customer service person, are they practicing? Or do they have training? Or most of the time people create training and they say, here's the training, good luck, but there's not a check on learning. So either way, you need to figure out, and it doesn't need to be all day, it doesn't need to be an hour a day, it could just be 10 to 15 minutes a day. So daily training, retrain, recertify. Otherwise, you're gonna get rusty. In addition to training, we already talked about it, number 4 is role play, okay? So think about this, there's more than just role play in sales. There's role play for directors, VPs, and executives. Maybe each week the CEO pulls in the executive team and does role play. Hey, we're gonna talk about a leadership dilemma. Alex, you're up. You just had an employee say this, what would you do? And then we have sales, and then we have people who face with clients. Hey, you got a disgruntled client, they said this, go. To be successful in life, to be successful building a culture, you have to practice before the event. But most people don't want to practice. That's why you have to force your team to get better. For 20 years in the military, I almost never wanted to work out. I have a famous saying that says, the best part of a workout is when you're done, right? Because in hindsight, do you ever look back on a workout and you're like, I just finished, but I wish I wouldn't have done that? No, every time you're like, man, I'm glad that's over. It's the same thing with training, okay? So you need to learn how to make it exciting. Maybe that's one of the other videos that we'll create soon, is how we try to make things exciting here at ECU for our team. But hey, you need to role play, so think about it. Leadership team, you can do leadership dilemmas, you've got sales, we can talk about sales calls, you got customer service, you got ops, but either way, you need to role play, otherwise you're never gonna get better. Number 5, you need daily inspiration if you're the leader. Hey, you need to motivate and inspire people. And I don't care if you're a tech guy, if you're a finance girl, whatever it is, you need to learn how to inspire your team. Most of the time, it's gonna be done with their personal, professional, and financial goals or the mission, vision, values of the organization. How can you instill some daily inspiration into your team? Again, these are just quick things. None of these things take a drastic amount of time. Daily inspiration could be, hey team, I saw this. Here's a quote. Here's what I took from it. Hey, here's a little 60-second video on overcoming ABC. But either way, you have to share something with your team every single day, or maybe a client win, right? A transformed, hey, he used our product and got this amazing result. You need to instill daily inspiration if you want a good culture. Number 6, daily recognition. That's something we do here at ECU. It's mandatory. Hey, who did a great job yesterday? Who can we recognize in front of the team? Hey, is it employee of the month, employee of the quarter, right? Every single day. We want to let our team know that we're winning. So we go through, hey, who helped clients yesterday? Who answered the most support tickets? Who got the most testimonials, videos are written from our clients? Who enrolled the most people into our program? Hey, did we just complete some big tech implementation? If you're a leader right now and you're like, Tim, I only lead like 4 people, and hey, come up with something every day for your 4 people. Pick one of 4 and think of one thing they did great yesterday. You need to consistently recognize your people and get a plaque every once in a while. Plaques are $20 to $50. Send them something that you know they care. Get them a swag shirt or something, right? You have to recognize your people or they will leave you. By the way, hey, just real quick, if you're unsatisfied in your career and you're like, man, Tim, I haven't been recognized in a very long time. Do me a favor, go on over to execupgrades.com because it's time for you to land a new role. Number 7, the last tip I got for you, daily correction. You have to correct people when they're doing wrong stuff. And it's not like I'm trying to be mean or anything. It's like, hey, remember when we talked about here's like the standards to work here and we said this? Like what happened? Was that not clear? Did you need more information? You need to correct people that are not adhering to the standard because they might leave. Obviously, you want to do these in one-on-one settings, but if it's something critical on the team call, hey, you need to just correct it then, right? You need to correct people when they're not doing the correct things. And people want to do the right things. I really do believe that, like deep down, No one wants to suck at their job. No one wants to keep making the same damn mistake over and over and over again, right? Not me anyway, right? So if I'm doing the wrong thing, I want my team to correct me. Hey, I don't think you should have handled that way. Hey, I know you had a great idea on this, but it's this, right? So you need to work in daily correction. Now, obviously, these are all light approaches as well. So let's recap the 7 different ways you can create a work culture that's high performing and brings out the best of your employees. Number 1, you gotta set standards right when you onboard with your team. Super important. Number 2, winning is the expectation. Number 3, you gotta train every day. Number 4, you gotta role play for a couple minutes a day. Number 5, you have to instill that daily inspiration. Number 6, you have to have daily recognition of one of your team members. And number 7, you have to daily correct if you notice any deficiencies. Now, there are many more things that go into building a great culture, high-performing teams, but I put together a list of what I believe are the 7 critical things where if you start here, hey, you are going to notice some positive improvement in your team. Additionally, hey, we just started doing workshops here at Executive Career Upgrades for other businesses to instill these practices and more and how to do it as it specifically applies to your business. So hey, if you'd like to have us lead a workshop for your business or your business unit, do me a favor, email me over at tim@execupgrades.com and smash that subscribe button below to stay connected. Have a great day.